So really would love to open it up about, going to the combine, talking with NFL teams. What were they saying about your game from a strength standpoint? What did they love about your game?
Yeah, they just loved, how big I was, how physical I was. I could run. I catch the ball extremely well. I have great body control. Those are a lot of the things that they just preached to me about what they liked before the combine. So.
And that physicality and the body control, that stuff that pops out on tape, where does that come from? Is that something that's always been part of your game?
Yes and no, because in order to play physical, you have to do it within the confines of the game. So, it takes a lot of, reading the coverages, like when can I be aggressive here, when can I be aggressive there. There's a lot more that goes into it than what you just see on the film. Like there's a whole study behind it and things like that.
So film study sounds like goes into being physical and being able to, do certain things against certain coverage. Talk more about your, how much film is involved in your preparation.
Yeah, it's extremely important to me just because, anything I can do to get a leg up on the competition, I'm going to do. So that means watching 4 or 5 hours of film a week. That's what I do. So, whether it's knowing a certain coverage or, knowing what play beats that coverage or how I can run a route against a certain coverage, it helps tremendously.
Your role at Notre Dame didn't really jump up significantly until this past year. Before then, you were not necessarily used a ton in the offense. This past year, over 100 targets. Talk to me about your early years at Notre Dame and what you were focusing on then to get better and get to the point that you were last year.
Yeah, really it just started all in the weight room. I had to get stronger, I had to get faster. One of the other things that worked on, obviously, like I said, film study, but just my overall knowledge of the game. Playing football is tough when you don't know what you're doing. When you're just going out there running around. When you can learn what team schemes are, what they're trying to do to stop you, it makes everything so much easier. It makes the game almost slow down. So once I had that down, I would truly believe that there's nothing that can stop me.
And was prioritizing that mental element of the game something that you really took to heart this past season? Because it really looked like you elevated yourself in 2018.
Absolutely, because at this level and at the next level, of course, like everybody's a good athlete. Everybody can run, everybody's fast, everybody's strong. Like there's a reason why we're here. It's that mental element that separates people.
Talk to me more about what NFL teams told you they want you to work on. I think talking to a lot of players in this process, they speak to NFL's teams saying they need to do A, B, and C to get better. What were they telling you in terms of what they wanted from you before going to the next level?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is just route diversity. They just wanted to see me run different routes because, our offense, it wasn't limiting, but I was just running certain routes that, don't necessarily translate to the NFL. There's more routes that you got to run in the NFL. But that's really with every college receiver. I also talked about just, working on my routes in general, just, clean out of the break, explosion out of the break. But, again, that's something I've been working on since day one, and I'm still getting better at it.
And with your size, speed, you obviously tested very well at the combine. Getting better from a technical standpoint has got to be high on your priority. Getting, because you only had, you didn't have a ton of targets in the year prior. Getting that experience, getting better from a technical standpoint must be huge. To do that now, what are you working on specifically this offseason as you prepare for the draft to get better in that area?
Yeah, it just goes about, with working with people. When I was down in Florida, I was working with Anquan Bolden, and even now, I'm still working with Delvon Alexander, our receivers coach. So just refining, watching film, watching NFL film, Calvin Johnson film study, something that I've been doing a lot. So just seeing how my game translates to the NFL.
Do you watch a lot of other players in addition? Obviously, self-evaluation on film is important, but watching other players that you aspire to or want to hone your game after, do you do a lot of that?
Yeah, I did a lot of that in college, actually. Coach Alexander would put on NFL tape, and we really watch more of the concepts, but like my favorite receiver will be in there that I'm watching. So
very cool. That's great, man. It sounds like you're really prioritizing that moving forward. I want to hear more about getting off press. As a big guy, sometimes that comes easy for you, but there's a technical element to that, and getting off press at the next level becomes a lot harder. These guys are a lot, very good at it. And talk to me about how you're improving that and how you're working to get better off getting off press and adding that to what is already a strong skill set.
Well, yeah, press is different for each corner that you face. So that's the first thing. You have to work against all the techniques. Recognize their footwork, and you have to match your footwork to theirs. So, if they're going to be, stout at the line, then you got to be quick and go around them. If they're going to be more patient in front of you, you got to work up to them and then, work that same technique. So for me in college, it was first about recognizing who I was playing against, how they were playing me, and the type of release that I needed to use. I'm a big guy, so if a guy's smaller than me, I'm just going to grab him and go right around him. If they're bigger than that, then you obviously can't do that. You have to be quicker and get to quickness, and that's what I plan on doing at the next level.
And I want to speak more about that wide receiver versus cornerback matchup. It's very mental. You're going against the same guy every time a lot, more so than even offensive line, defensive line. You're going against that same guy. He's following you sometimes through games. There's a mental side to that where you kind of have to not necessarily jaw a little bit, but definitely try and get in their head and win that mental matchup. Talk to me about that part of the game specifically.
Yeah, it's a battle. It's competition play after play. Even if it's a run play, I'm going to try to hit you. So it doesn't really matter. That's one of my favorite things to do. But just in terms of the competition, you just really have to go out there and believe that you're better. You might only get 4 or 5 opportunities to show it, but you want to win those opportunities and just prove that you're just a better player that day.
Are there some corners that stand out in your mind that, not necessarily gave you fits, but ones that you knew were good competition, ones that you look back on your career and saying, those guys were great, those guys helped me the most?
Yeah, Dory Jackson, Dante Jackson from LSU, Greedy Williams from LSU, and they're really good players.
Yeah, Greedy Williams is a guy that we've studied a lot in this process, very sticky man corner that does a lot. He likes to talk a little bit too. I'm sure that gets hard to deal with when you're working with these players that talk a lot. I was looking at Hamp Cheevers from Boston College. He said he likes to talk a lot. How do you deal with that as a receiver? I think it doesn't always come from you, it comes from them trying to get in your head. How do you deal with that? Them constantly talking to you, constantly kind of trying to get into your head and work on that part of the game.
I don't deal with it, to be honest. I'm too tired to talk and I'm too tired to listen. I just got to line up and do my job. So all that talking is just, it's a waste to me because I just play. Yeah.
Definitely. You said you like to run block, and I think that's big in the NFL. People, NFL teams covet run blocking wide receivers. Do you see that as a strength in your game? Did NFL teams bring that up as a strength in your game?
Absolutely, yeah. I had teams talk to me just solely about my blocking. I'm physical. I block linebackers. I block safeties. I block corners. It doesn't really matter. If there's a job that needs to be done, I'm going to do it.
Between now and the draft, what do you want to get better at the most? What specifically are you working to get better at the most?
Yeah, just refining my route running. Just making sure everything's clean. Translating college routes to NFL routes. There's certain routes that are ran differently. So just working on those and, just being, all-around receiver. Obviously I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to run, get myself in condition. But, just refining my route running.
Julian Love had to have played a little bit of a, key part of your improvement. I'm sure growing against him in practice had been hard, and you two working together to make each other better. Talk to me about your relationship with Julian Love.
Yeah, absolutely. I've known Jay Love since he was a freshman, sophomore in high school. So we go way back. Just turns out that when they offered me, he was so excited. He's like, "You got to go." That's like, I'm not going to Notre Dame. But no, me and Jay Love. One of the things that I talk with coaches and scouts a lot is love our matchups when they came to practice over the summer. Just watching us go one-on-one because he's a smart player, I'm a smart player, and we're working different techniques day in and day out against each other. And really, it's just like 50-50 between us. But Jay Love, him helping me out has been tremendous. Going up against one of the best corners in the country every day gets you better.
Are you guys talking a lot through this process and talking about it together? I know this can be a very overwhelming process for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We just, we're from the same area, in Illinois, so we just, talk to each other when we're around. We'll hang out. He's back right now, so chilling. I'm back taking classes, so yeah, we see each other every day.
Very cool. In addition to this process, you see a lot of media and fans alike. They see a big guy, very athletic, get tested well, and want to attach labels to you, want to say to other people what you are. But I would love to hear from you what you think you are. What is Miles Boykin as a player? Not what everyone else is saying, but what you're saying, and what strengths you have, weaknesses, etc.
Yeah, if you look at the combine performance, I think it speaks for itself. It was one of the best wide receiver combines ever, especially for someone who's 6'4", over 220 pounds. So comparisons are kind of tough for me to hear just because I don't feel like there's a player that was able to do what I can do. I think that I'm still, I haven't hit my ceiling yet. I don't know if I have a ceiling because I'm just going to keep it. Every time I step on the field, I'm getting better. So for me, it's just about, being the best that I could be. I think that I'm definitely capable of being one of the best receivers in the NFL, and that's what I, try to show every time I step on the field.